Good morning and welcome to the 5th annual Super Bowl of Preaching. I'm Bryce Johnson alongside Cameron Roop, and we are fired up to be here. You cannot believe what we have in store. The matchups are set. We're going to hear some great preaching. How about that song? That was incredible. I got the juices flowing. I'm ready to go. And everybody coming in, we're so glad to have you. Those of you online, this is a special day. This is a different day. It's Super Bowl Sunday. We're looking forward to the game tonight. But before that, we've got this in store for you. And because it is a little unique, my producers make sure that I read this little disclaimer for you. So here you go. If you're easily offended, over-churched, don't like to laugh, and have no sense of humor, well, you may want to leave right now. We believe that you can have fun in church and learn about Jesus at the same time. We also need to make sure that you know this as well. We are in no shape or form associated with the actual Super Bowl. We are not sponsored or endorsed by the National Football League. But we're glad to be here. We hope that you're ready to laugh. We hope you're ready to be encouraged. I'm Bryce Johnson. I lead a ministry for sports fans called Unpacking It and love being a part of this each year. And you can check out my podcast, Unpacking It. This year, we are joined by Cameron Roop because Dave Thomas, who normally sits in this chair, he held out.
Where'd he go?
He wanted Tony Romo money, apparently.
Yeah.
So he's at home, but you're here, and I actually replaced you. So you're back. So glad to have you.
I'm back in it. It's been a few years since I've been away. Obviously, we miss Dave Thomas here. He is the man, but, sometimes when you demand certain things, you get put on the bench, and that's the way it goes. So I'm a pretty good replacement, if I do say so myself. But over the last few years, I've done a little bit of traveling around. I've been on a few small shows like ABC or NBC or something like that. Olympic level stuff. None of the big deal. But all I got to say is this is the biggest stage that I could ask to be at, and this is the Super Bowl of preaching, and I am amped to be here.
This is what we live for every year. The pandemic can't stop the Super Bowl of preaching. All right, who wants to win some free stuff? That's right. Not only do we have a great service in store today, we got some free stuff. We're giving away a $200 gift card to Topgolf. Who doesn't love Topgolf? All right, here we go. This is what you have to do. Grab your phone. Text SBP to the number on the screen. It will then send you a link. Click the link, fill out the form, then hit submit. You also have to go over to YouTube and find the Life Point Church Fort Mill channel, hit subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then at the end of the service, we will announce the winner of a pretty sweet $200 gift card.
Oh, yeah. Everybody make sure you go do that because at the end of the service, you will legit have a chance to win that. So that'll be pretty cool. Want to hear your name said. So thank you so much for that. Now, if you were not here last year, the Super Bowl of preaching is something that has been going on for years. So this is going to almost be a follow-up of that in a sense. So last year, Pastor Chris actually announced his retirement and did not preach, leaving Ridge on his own. So here's what we're going to do now is we're going to go back and watch a video and see exactly how that went.
Here's the thing. I have been really doing a lot of research, been doing a lot of praying, a lot of talking to different people, and I've made a tremendous decision, a big decision. Do you know what is required to do the Super Bowl of preaching? Do you know what it goes into that? Year-round training that takes place. Listen, it takes a whole team of people to prepare me, to keep me in the peak physical condition that you see me in every year. I hate to do this, and I know it's going to come as a big surprise, but I've made the decision that I'm going to be retiring from the Super Bowl of preaching effective immediately. This is very difficult for me, but I want to thank Ridge Thomas. Wow, what a partner he has been in this journey, and that's probably the hardest decision in not doing it this year, is that I won't be there to help him cross the line and experience his first championship.
All right, Ridge, today's a big day. We're going to draft our new partner for you. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to use my world-famous BPR rating to determine your partner.
BPR? What is that?
The BPR rating. You never heard of it?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's the Biblical Preaching Rating. You're going to take the person's biblical accuracy plus the experience that they've had over the past several years. Multiply that by the amount of amens they get in a service. Now you got to subtract out those stupid negative emails, but you're going to add back in how many conversions did they get. And of course, you got to subtract out any type of people that walk out of the service while he's preaching. But then you're going to add in, did this guy stay within his time allotment? Right? Add in the passion. You're going to take all of that, and then you're going to raise it to the power of the followers that they have on social media. First candidate, Steve Whitted.
No. You remember Christmas at the old building?
Oh yeah, it's Gary Hyde. He has a 3.5 BPR.
Out of 10?
I know, it's high, I know. Okay, I'm going to tell you, it's a 0 BPR.
0?
Yeah. It's Anthony Dean though.
Bro, Anthony's talented, but this is not a poetry competition.
He does like an interpretive dance or something. And he's good with his words is what I'm trying to say. He's good with
Just
words.
move on.
This is the one, all the experience. He's got the words, he's got it together. He's the next big thing. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Your new partner, Ridge Thomas, is Ridge Thomas with Ridge Thomas.
I'm gonna be my own partner.
Wow, what a crazy year last year was. You know, who saw it coming? You know, I wasn't here, but I still watched with anticipation as Ridge filled in for himself and covered up both sides, and he took him down, you know? So, I don't know. It was a crazy experience.
Well, how tough was it to watch your dad retire like that? Is that emotional for you?
You know, it was a little emotional at first, but ultimately I got over it because I realized that it was probably best for him since he's getting up there in age. You know, he needs to take it down a little bit.
It did seem like the right time. Well, as good as it was for Team Thomas to actually get the win, you know, the fact that Team Seaman lost in dramatic fashion, it was a long off season for them. A lot of question marks, a lot of, you know, answers that really Nate was searching for to try to figure out how he could come back this year, him and Emily, to make do and to make this work. And so apparently we've got an exclusive interview with the captain of Team Seaman, Pastor Nate.
Well, Nate, welcome back to the Super Bowl of Preaching for your 5th year in a row. How do you feel?
I tell you, Ash, I'm feeling great, feeling the best I'd ever have. 5 years in a row, having the honor to preach at the SBP. You know, people are starting to talk about me being the Tom Brady of preaching, which I tell you what, I'll let other people settle that debate, but I'm just glad to be in the conversation. You know, when you come to the SBP as much as I do, the key element is humility. And I'm just grateful that I really possess all the humility in the world. It's really a spiritual gift of mine.
Let's take a moment, talk about last year when, in an upset, Team Thomas beat Team Seaman. And Team Thomas was Ridge and Ridge. I mean, one person beat the two of you. And I'm a little surprised they didn't revoke your Bible college diploma after that.
Wait a minute. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so the off-season was a little rough for you this year. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it. It was rough. It was a tough year in my 8-season preaching career, 5 times, like you mentioned, at the SBP. It was tough. You know, when we lost to Team Thomas, I let myself go. I did. I let it go. Didn't read my Bible. Didn't do my 2-minute takebacks. Gained some weight. All right, gained a little bit of weight. You know, and it was tough on me. But I'll tell you what. Nothing was harder than what happened in this moment right here. What in the world? I thought we were practicing today.
Well, we are, just without you.
Wait a minute. What in the world's going on here?
I think you know what's going on here, Nate. She just wants to win on Super Bowl Sunday, so she's going to preach on my team for the Super Bowl of preaching.
Wow. How did it feel watching Emily leave your team for the winning team?
Horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. You know, who does that? Who leaves their teammate for another team? All right? One loss. That's all I did. We lost one game. I have one loss on my preaching career, and she leaves me, her husband, for Team Thomas, for Ridge? I mean, come on, Ashley. What does Ridge have that I don't have? All right? I've been preaching for 8 years. He hasn't. All right? I have a double major in Bible college. I don't even know if he went to college. I'm going to be honest with you. He has nothing. I mean, he has better hair. I'll give him that, all right? He has a nice jawline, really nice biceps. But listen, other than the external things, okay, I have everything internal. Everything that you would want in a teammate. I can't believe it.
Well, your offseason wasn't all bad. You made some pretty big
did.
moves and picked up a new teammate. Let's roll that clip now.
Chris, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey! Is that Nate?
Dude, where in the world are you?
Listen, I'm enjoying that good old retirement.
Bro,
Retirement.
why do you have so much sunscreen on your nose?
Hey, now that's an interesting story. You see, for some reason, I get more sun in that particular region more so than anywhere else on my body.
I think we all know why that is. But listen, I hate that I'm interrupting your retirement. I can clearly see you're on a Caribbean island somewhere. You're a little loose with your Hawaiian shirt. Little too many buttons are down. But let's get to it. I've got a really important question to ask you.
Yeah, man. Ask away.
I don't know if you heard about it on ESPN. It's been all over SportsCenter. You know, Stephen A. Smith, First Take, they did a big episode on it. But Emily left. She left me.
Wow. Dude, man. I'm sorry. And I don't know if this is any consolation to you or not, but I didn't really see why she married you to begin with. It was a miracle.
No, bro, not like my marriage left me. She left my team, SVP of preaching. Hello. Yeah, she went to Team Thomas. Can you believe it? Can you
Of course I believe it. I mean, that's my prodigy, man. I mean, he's a winner. People like to be with winners, and when it was time to go to the winning team, I'm sure she just took off and went.
Well, I can see that some things have never changed, and this is going to make this even more difficult for me. But I have a very important question to ask you.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm here for you. What can I do? Need some coaching?
No.
Listen, I don't mind. I'll do some Zoom calls with you. We'll get you ready to go. You'll be a lot better this time around, I assure you.
No, not
You want some material? Listen, I wrote some stuff that I've not even used yet. I was planning on using it in years to come. I mean, I got some killer stuff. I'm not going to give you my best one, but I'll send you a couple of doozies.
Chris, it's not. I don't need coaching, okay? I don't need.
All right. I'll come back in. If you really need me, I'll come and do some hosting beforehand on the commentary like I did last time.
You're going to make me say it, aren't you?
What are you talking about, man? I'm a team player. I'm here for you, and I'm not even going to charge you. I'm going to come do it for free.
You know exactly why I've called you. Listen, let me just get it out there, okay, Chris?
What?
I need you to come out of retirement and join my team.
Of course I will. Why didn't you just say so? Man, I'm here for you.
Let's do it.
Mimosa?
All right, let's go.
Well, there we have it. Another surprising twist in the Super Bowl of preaching. Pastor Chris has come out of retirement to join Team Seaman. This is shaping up to be an epic battle. The tensions are high, the stage is set, and this is going to be a biblical battle for the ages. Guys, back to you.
An unbelievable turn of events, and I'm trying to figure out what's most shocking. The fact that Emily and Nate are now on different teams. The fact that Nate was able to convince Chris to come out of retirement, even after some of those comments that Chris made to him as he was trying to get to the actual ask. Or I'm kind of shocked that your dad looked pretty good in that Hawaiian shirt. I kind of want one myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing the whole Hawaiian shirt thing, but what I will say is that was a surprising scenario. Emily probably made a pretty good decision there going to join Team Thomas. Team Thomas is obviously the better team here. I think they're going to end up pulling this off. I think they will.
Well, Chris, he didn't stay retired very long. Kind of reminds me of Brett Favre a little bit. So he's back, and it'll be interesting to see the chemistry with him and Nate. But as far as this first half goes, we got to know kind of what the rules are,
Sure.
Especially for those that are new today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go through the rule breakdown really quickly. It's pretty basic, but there are a couple changes from previous years. So every single player is going to get to preach 1 quarter of the game. And here's how the scoring is going to work. Teams will receive 6 points if they preach a biblically accurate message in the allotted time. So that can be an issue specifically for people like Chris and maybe Nate, that they have those kind of issues of going over. The extra point is going to be a trivia question this year. You're going to have a 1 point you could go for or a 2 point.
I'll go for 2.
You got to go for 2, but the only difference is that the 2 point is going to be a much more difficult question. So do you play safe or do you risk it? How well do you know your trivia? That's the question.
Wow, well, let's get things started. Everybody's here. Everybody's ready. We got 4 pastors ready to preach. It's the 5th annual Super Bowl of preaching. First half, here we go.
Wow, the good thing this has nothing to do with physical physique because they do not have it.
Here is Team Seaman. Let's bring them out. Pastor Chris, Pastor Nate. Ooh.
That's why
No
you go for
kicking
two there.
required today.
That's why you go for two.
All right. Well, let's say hello to our next team. It's Team Thomas with Ridge and the newest addition, Emily.
Much better looking team, obviously. That doesn't need to be said. Obviously,
Well,
look
you
at
said
the
it
muscles.
anyway.
I had to say, I had to. But look at the muscles on Ridge. He's got the backwards hat.
Yeah, the Matthew Stafford, I'm not sure I like that look. I think that's a negative for Team Thomas right there.
I will say I agree with the hair. It's got to get cut.
Gotta cut the hair. We'll see how Ridge bounces back after last year's win.
All right, everyone, please come together at center field. My name is Caitlin, and I am the referee for you today. And on behalf of the SBP committee, welcome back and congratulations. All right. Now, a quick reminder of the rules. So each of you is going to get a chance to preach for 1 quarter. And to get a touchdown for 6 points, we're going to judge your biblically accurate preaching. And then, for your extra point, you can go for a 1-point trivia question or something that's a little bit more difficult for 2 points. Now, a coin toss backstage has already determined that Team Thomas is up first with Ridge. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right, everybody. Super Bowl preaching. Are we excited? You guys ready? Make some noise. Listen, we have limited time, but I gotta say this before we start. This is the perfect example of why we do Try 5. If today is your first Sunday, watching online or in person, like before you call the cops or something like that, just come back next week. It will still be goofy, I'll tell you that. But today is just completely over the top. Chris in the Hawaiian shirt, wow. But as much fun as we're going to have today, something that you'll always experience at Light Point is we're going to get in God's Word, right? That's never going to be compromised, even on a day like today. That's insane. So hopefully you're ready. We got to move kind of fast because we only get 7 minutes. But I wanted to start by asking you this. How many of you would agree with me that football is the greatest sport in the world? Anybody, good godly people in here? Yeah, absolutely. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. But football, best sport in the world. And here's one of the things that makes football so great. It's such a beautiful display of teamwork, right? Anybody in here, guys, grow up playing football? Absolutely. Again, good, godly people. Make your kids play football. But when you're playing football as a kid, one of the first things that you get, taught is how to be a great teammate. And that principle applies to so much more than football. It applies to life. And so as our team was preparing for the Super Bowl of preaching this year, we said, you know what? Let's let that be the big idea that kind of carries us through all 4 quarters. So if you're taking notes today, again, online or in person, we're going to focus in on the big idea today of how to be a great teammate. How to be a great teammate. And you might be asking yourself, why does that really matter if we're in church? What does that have to do with Jesus? Well, did you know that God actually designed following Jesus to be a team sport? It's not designed to be just an individual, isolated journey. Now, of course, there's personal moments where it's just you and the Lord, no doubt. It's a one-on-one relationship, but it's meant to be done in the context of community. You need people in your corner. You need people to do life with. That's why we as a church talk about how Life Point is about people helping people discover full life in Jesus. That's who we are. That's what we're about. And so today, what each of us is going to do is cover a passage from the playbook of Proverbs. Some of you are like, Ridge, my corny meter is almost breaking right now. The playbook of Proverbs. All right, yeah, gather around, kids. So we're going to be in the playbook of Proverbs. I got to go fast because I'm running out of time. So we're going to be in the hurry up offense. You ready? Say you're ready. We good? All right. We're going to look at Proverbs chapter 11, verse 12 to start. It says, whoever derides their neighbor has no sense, but the one who has understanding holds their tongue. Now, if you're like me, you read that passage, the first question you ask yourself is, what does deride even mean, right? That's not exactly people aren't throwing that term around, all right? And if you're hanging out with people that talk like that, get new friends. But the point is, that phrase, what does it even mean? Well, to deride someone is to mock, ridicule, or make fun of them. This verse is telling us that we got to be careful not to fall into that. Can we all agree, by the way, that person, not fun to be around, right? The person constantly putting others down, constantly making fun of other people. But here's the real question. If you're honest with yourself, I ask you to consider this. How many of you are honest enough to admit that from time to time, you're that person, right? Yeah, Chris, you can raise both hands if you want. How many of you are that person, right? And here's the thing. All of us have done that, right? We all fall into it. Even people who've been following Jesus for a long time fall into this. And so it got me asking myself, why is that? Like, why do we, people who have God's Spirit within us through faith in Christ, why do we fall into this, putting others down, making fun of people, calling people out in ways that we never should? And I feel like God showed me two simple takeaways that really are stumbling blocks that will cause you to fall into this. So the first one is this, immaturity. So immaturity is putting others down for the cheap laugh and for the attention. And we've all done this, haven't we? Right? You're in a group setting. By the way, Christians notoriously bad about this. Instead of having a loving one-on-one conversation with grace and truth, we'll just throw it out in a group setting and call it like a good thing, right? And that's just immaturity, right? It's doing something to belittle someone else in an unnecessary way. That's immaturity. The other side of the coin, equally as dangerous, that will cause you to be a bad teammate, is insecurity. So you got immaturity and insecurity. Insecurity is putting others down in an effort to hide your own weaknesses and flaws. And here's the thing. Whether you're watching online with us today or whether you're in person, I know this, even though there's many of you that I've never met. And after today, maybe you're like, I don't want to meet any of the staff. These people are insane. But one thing I know for sure is that every single one of us has insecurities. Everybody does. It doesn't matter who you are. We all have insecurities. Things you're self-conscious about with your appearance, limits in your abilities. Everybody has insecurities. Here's the difference. A bad teammate deals with those insecurities by putting others down. It's a coping mechanism. You with me? And so all this to say, you're like, Riz, this is really encouraging. We're immature and insecure. All right, let's go to lunch. Let's talk it out. So here's the one big piece of encouragement that I would give you today. There is a step that you could take, a decision you could make rather, today before you leave that would instantly make you a better teammate. And I know that sounds so infomercial, but I'm serious. Like, this is a decision you could make today. We're about to put it on the screen. If you make this choice, you'll become a better teammate today. And it's going to sound so simple that some of you are going to roll your eyes when we put it on the screen. If you want to be a great teammate, here it is. You got to be encouraging. You got to be encouraging. And I know that when you hear that, a lot of you are like, man, really? You've had all this time to prepare. You couldn't give us something better than that? Be encouraging? But here's the thing I don't think a lot of people realize about the power of encouragement. Encouragement is the key that unlocks the potential in others. I'll say that again. Encouragement is the key that unlocks the potential in others. I'm crazy enough to believe that there's people that you do life with that have amazing things God has put within them, and they're just waiting for you to encourage it out of them. In other words, I think there's people on your teams that you work with, coworkers, that have great leadership abilities, that have great talents and skills, but no one's ever encouraged it out of them, right? It's the power of having an I see in you conversation with somebody. If you ever want to be an amazing leader, pick somebody that you've been spending some time with and sit down with them and go, hey, I don't know if you know this about yourself, but I see this in you. It's powerful. It unlocks something. A great thing, this really convicted me when we were preparing for this, your kids. Do you have any idea how powerful it would be if you started encouraging your kids? Because let me tell you something, parents, and I'm a step parent, so this applies to everybody who raises children. There is no one in this world who means more to them when it comes to their opinion or their voice than yours. And there's stuff in your kids that if you would just encourage them, it would draw it out. And this is another big one. This will be the last one I mentioned. We're running out of time. Your spouse. Some of you, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings this morning, but if the shoe fits. So some of you, your spouse, the one that you wish you had is the one you have, but you haven't encouraged them yet. In other words, you constantly belittle them, give them a hard time. You're not doing this, you're not doing this. If you would encourage them, it would draw out what God's put in. But see, God's waiting on you to do your part. That's a great teammate. And so we're obviously going to talk about different aspects of how to be a great teammate this morning, but I just want to encourage you for this opening quarter. If you want to make a decision today to become a better teammate, make the decision to be encouraging. That's all I got. That's first quarter.
All right, and that is a touchdown for Ridge.
We'll take it.
All right. Well, now the big question.
Sure.
Would you like to go for the 1 point or the 2 points?
Being the Pat Mahomes of preaching, I'm tempted just to go for 2 because I could probably do it. But I'm just going to go for 1. First quarter, let's just get on the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How many books are in the New Testament?
Wow. Really? 27. And I did go to college, Nate. 27.
You are correct.
Yes, thank you.
So at the end of the first quarter, we have 7 points for Team Thomas. Next up, we have Chris to bring it in for Q2.
No, there I am. Switch out. Oh, there we go. Somebody is working actively against my team. Somebody is not for Team Root. And listen, I want to be encouraging. I feel like I should be encouraging. Don't you guys? I mean, it was such a great message that I want to be the first person to encourage you. I would like to encourage you to buy bigger shirts. No. Listen, I watched him the whole time. It was hard to hear what he was saying because his shirt's screaming, "I'm stretched too far! Help me!" Everybody's thinking it. I'm just the one who says it. That's all it is. I just wasted so much time. I have a free shirt because that's what we do. Who's pulling for Tom Brady and the Bucks? I got a Brady's Bucks shirt, so a lot of y'all don't want this, right? All right, show me again hands, because I'm going to throw it out there. Seeing where the biggest row is. I feel like right here. Okay, we'll give it to you guys. I am going to need that back afterwards, because I got to return it. Got to get a refund. Those shirts were expensive. If you buy it the week of, that's like $38. You're welcome. All right, I better preach. So let me talk about, there's a player in the Super Bowl today that is the best example of the worst teammate on the planet. Y'all know who it is? Who's the worst teammate on the planet playing in the Super Bowl? Let me help you out. He's played on 4 teams, not really played on them. He's been on 4 teams in the last 2 years. Antonio Brown, there's my sports fans. Listen, Antonio Brown, what a weirdo, right? And I feel bad for him. My heart hurts because something's going on in his world that ain't right. Couple of years ago, here's the famous quote from Antonio Brown. I am not making this up. His words, I'm going to read it. You ready? Antonio Brown said this: I don't even have to play football if I don't want. I don't even need the game. I don't need to prove nothing to anyone. If they want to play, they're going to play by my rules. And if they don't, and if not, I don't need to play. So he took a 1.5 years off. And apparently, he's going to play by their rules now. You know, Antonio Brown was not the best teammate in the world. Here's the funny thing about it. So 2 years ago, he's playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he made $16 million. Did y'all know that? He signs a contract. They kick him off the team. They were done with him. He signs a contract with the Oakland Raiders, who becomes the Las Vegas Raiders, for $50 million. He didn't play a single game, violated some rules, kicked him off the team with 0 pay. He then gets a contract with New England for $30 million. And I think he didn't make it there very long. He gets booted from that team for all kind of weird stuff, doesn't get paid. And now he's not going to play because he doesn't need to play. Well, until about halfway through this season. And then he decided, okay, maybe I do need to play. And he goes from all of those massive $1 million contracts to getting paid $750,000 for half the season. That's consequences for being a terrible teammate. Here's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I want to talk about being coachable. Because somebody somewhere along the way, he decided he didn't need to be coached. And to help us out with this, and this is a human problem. This is not new. This has been going on for thousands of years. There was a book written just for this purpose. And the people who kind of approach the book of Proverbs, they're approaching it from the standpoint of, I want to be coached. Because the whole book is like, I'm going to give you nuggets of information that's going to help you. The concept of the book of Proverbs is coachability. I want to be coached. I want some good stuff. So let me read one key text out of there. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 11. When a scoffer is punished, the simple become wise. When a wise man is instructed, he gains knowledge. Now, I want to do some coaching. I'm going to coach you guys up. This is what we call preaching the text. That's when you read it and then you talk about the Bible instead of your own stuff. Just free coaching because I know you are coachable and y'all need a lot of coaching. No, I'm just kidding. Just messing with you. I love them sometimes. So 2 parts of this. Check the first part of the text. There's 2 key elements. The first part of the text is about being a scoffer.
And a scoffer is someone who basically, who doubts and they push back against any wisdom. They're like, oh, I don't need that. And they're always pushing back, and they know more. I don't need your instructions. I know more than you do. So they'll push back. And here's what ends up happening. The scoffer is the kind of person who learns from bad choices. They have to do the stupid thing, fail at that because they made a bad choice, and deal with the consequences of that, right? Because they push back. Well, there's a second option. The Bible then says, you don't have to do that. It talks about a wise man. The wise man is this person who's hungry. They want to learn. They're teachable, or in our case, they're coachable. They want knowledge, and they're the one who then gains this knowledge. And it's interesting that this book kind of lays this out for us and this concept, this difference. Now, I know as soon as I talk about failure and making mistakes and all this stuff, that there'll be people say, no, wait a minute. That's not true. Isn't failure is one of those things that's the great educator to people? Let me tell you the thing, that is completely true. But there is a difference between failing and poor choices. There's a complete difference in me trying something and say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to give it my best effort, and I'm going to go run after this, and then it not work out. And then I take those lessons and use it. That's the positive. The negative is making a stupid decision, making a poor choice, not listening to knowledge or wisdom from other people, repeating someone else's mistake when I've been given this information. Y'all with me? The difference is poor choices versus failure. Man, listen, go for it. Fail and learn. Yes, don't make poor choices and have to deal with the consequences because of your arrogance and because of your lack of humility. Right. So here's the thing. Where does it begin? So how do I then become coachable? Let me put this phrase up here. Think about this for a second. Here's how you become coachable. It's the moment that you realize that you can't become the player that you want to be on your own. It's in that moment I realize, unless somebody else comes into my life and gives me godly counsel and encourages me in a godly way, I'll never become what God wants me to become. I'll always remain back here failing and struggling. I need people in my life. I need humility to humble myself and to recognize that there are other voices that need to be in my life. And so the difference between a coachable player and an uncoachable player has nothing to do with your talents, your abilities, your skill sets. This year, Antonio Brown still goes to Tampa Bay, and he still is an amazing player. The difference isn't your ability. The difference between a coachable person and an uncoachable person is a mindset shift. It's a different mindset. Being coachable is this person who thinks about it and views about the world from a different angle. They think about it from the standpoint of what can I get from other people to make me better, that can move me forward, to make me more than where I am today. I don't want to be here. I want to go further. And so I need this mind shift to say, hey, I need you in my life to help push me forward. So let me show you this mindset difference. Here's a couple of good examples of an uncoachable player versus a coachable player, or an uncoachable person versus a coachable person. Uncoachable people don't apply what they're being taught. In general, you hear things all the time, but this arrogance kicks in and you're constantly deflecting and you're a scoffer. Oh, I don't need that. I know better. I'm smarter than you are. A coachable player, though, is willing to make changes. They want voices in their lives. Man, I'm going to do whatever is required to become what God wants me to be. Uncoachable players become defensive. They're always making excuses. It's not my fault. Well, if I'd have had this, or if they would have gave me that, well, it's not fair. I didn't have the same opportunities. They're always defensive, making excuses. Coachable players, they just want to be pushed. It doesn't matter where you put them. Doesn't matter where they're at, they're going to push forward because their only goal is I want to be better and I need people around me to be better. So let me close with this. Two things. These are the keys. The keys to success in becoming a coachable person. Number one, have the right attitude, which is what we talked about. This mindset shift that I need people in my life to push me and to challenge me, and I'm going to let them in my life. And sometimes it's going to be difficult, and I'm not going to hear things that I want to hear all the time, but I want them in there. I have the right attitude. But also, I want to finish with this one. We need the right people.
I think some of the biggest mistakes that we make is that we sometimes, when we decide we're going to allow people into our life, we allow the wrong people in our lives. We allow the wrong voices in our life, and the consequence is the same. Listen, you can get bad advice and be coached poorly and become a terrible player as a result of it, or a terrible person as a result of it. Where you surround yourself with that. So surround yourself with positive teammates, mentors, and people who are going to push you and maximize the opportunities in your life and take you to the highest level. Now, when I was younger, I started a church back when I was 27 years old. And as I was starting it, this was around the time that the St. Louis Rams, believe it or not, there was a team in St. Louis, the Rams, and they won the Super Bowl. How many of y'all remember this? Remember this? This is back in the day. So the coach of that team was Coach Dick Vermeil. Now, I knew Dick Vermeil from Philadelphia because prior to the Panthers, I was a Eagles fan. I know, that's crazy. And so Dick Vermeil was there, and then he goes over there. So I'm pulling for Dick Vermeil. He's such a great guy, and he wins it. And after he wins the Super Bowl, he's in an interview, and he says this. So they ask him, dude, after all these years of coaching, you've been doing this for all these years, how in the world did you get to this point right now and win the Super Bowl? How'd you do it? He said, well, I had this shift in my mindset. Something different happened. I decided what I was going to do and what I needed. I needed to surround myself with coaches that are better than me. And I'll just take all the credit. I'll let them do all the work. I'll take all the credit. And I know that sounds crazy, but that was kind of my mindset going into starting a church. I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the best people to come on staff who are far better than me. And then because here's what happens. When you bring people around you that are better than you, guess what they do? They pull you forward. They make you better. The problem is sometimes we're too scared of that, right? We're scared if I let these people who are better than me around me, well, they're going to shine. They're going to take the credit. They're going to get the focus. But the reality should be no, they're going to make me better. And I want to be at my best. So today, I want to leave you with that. Don't settle for just going through the motions. Be coachable. Bring the right people around you. That's my time. Thank you. Right. All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, I mean, that was a touchdown, Chris. Great job.
Of course. It's a touchdown. Was that even debated?
Okay. So you could go for the 1 point or the 2 point question. What do you think you're going to do?
Well, listen, I thought about this beforehand. I think, as I'm saying, I still got Nate coming up. If we get in trouble, which I'm not too worried, Emily, I know she's a girl and she's amazing. She's a great player. But I feel like between the two of them, Nate is angry. The way that he treated him. And I'm with you, dude. And I think he's going to finish it out. So I only need the 1 pointer. I'm going to let him take her down.
All right. Well, here we go. See if you're ready.
I'm nervous. I ain't going to lie to you.
Okay. After Jesus miraculously fed over 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves, how many baskets were left over?
How many baskets were left? Let me tell you how I remember that. I think about disciples. How many disciples are there? There's 12 disciples, so there must have been 12 baskets.
You are correct.
Very logical conclusion.
Done. Exactly.
Very logical.
Okay, so at the half, we are tied 7-7, and we're going to send it on back to the announcer booth.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm Bryce Johnson with Cameron Roop, and what a great start to the Super Bowl of preaching here at Life Point Church. And the storyline for me was how would Chris Roop be able to come out of retirement and really help Nate's team get over the hump. And what did we see? We saw a fumble on the first play. He couldn't even get his microphone working.
I saw it coming. I'll tell you, I saw it coming.
Come on, Chris, you're better than that. So either somebody was out to get him and he turned off his mic, or he just forgot how to turn on the mic.
Yes, and I will make one small comment here. Ridge's shirt might be a little tight, but Chris, I mean, your shirt's a little tight in the gut area. So I don't know. It's gonna be. I don't know. Maybe we just need to get bigger shirts all around. I don't know.
You better be careful. You got the same jeans. So.
Oh no.
Fit in his jeans. Actually, what am I saying?
Don't put me like that. All right, now to switch it up to a little bit more of a serious conversation here, a couple of the key points that really jumped out to me, and you tell me what you thought. But first off, with Ridge, encouragement to bring the best out of people, not necessarily using your, insecurities and immaturity to bring them out and almost make yourself feel better by making them feel poorly, but encouraging people to get the best out of them. That was huge to me. That jumped out. And then secondly, just being able to be coachable on the second half there, making sure you're a good teammate, making sure you're helping each other out, making sure you're being proactive and those kind of areas, and not necessarily using bad decisions to get better, more using learning and just good situations to make yourself better.
So I'm a huge sports fan, and so the number of references that Ridge used were great. The hurry-up offense I liked.
That was good.
The Proverbs being the playbook, which is so true, the playbook for wisdom and life, and so much value in that book in the Bible. And then I really love the comparison that Chris brought up about Dick Vermeil and him putting together a staff with the Rams when they won that Super Bowl, really good coaches, and it makes everybody better. And sometimes we're scared of that. And so I thought that was very encouraging. And then, of course, the Antonio Brown comparison. We don't want to be Antonio Brown.
No, we don't.
Like teammates, that's for sure. He can catch some passes, but we've seen the track record for sure. Well, we've got a 7-7 tie here at halftime. And this is an incredible stadium we have here at Life Point for the Super Bowl of Preaching. We've expanded it. We've got new lights. Everything looks great here. Well, we've got some nice donors that have supported this ministry and great tithers out there. But we got to keep the lights on. So we do have some sponsors. Check out this year's commercials right here during halftime.
That's pretty good there. That right there, that almost proves why commercials are always better than the actual game. That was a home run in every way.
That was fantastic. I still can't get over the nasty Pepsi dip.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It almost had me gagging a little bit.
Oh, that's brutal. Well, as funny as that is, and as much fun as we're having today, we also really desire to see you connect with Life Point in meaningful ways to find that community. And right now, we've got a special guest joining us here at halftime. And last year, if you remember in the video, Ridge asked the question, who's Bob Rauscher? Well, Bob was new to the staff back then, but now he's been here a year, and he's leading the way with life groups and lifelines, and joins us to talk more about that today. Bob, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thanks, Bryce. It's such a pleasure being here with you guys today.
Absolutely. Well, let people know exactly how they can get plugged in with life groups and with lifelines, especially right now coming up.
Yeah, well, that was a great first half, and all the conversation about teams and life being a team sport. That is really what life groups and lifelines are about here at Life Point. Those are an important part of what we do. It helps connect you with others. We actually believe that you grow better together. It's through that encouragement that they talked about, and through that having that right mindset that we are actually better together. And so we have some great ways to do that. Coming up this week in particular, we have the Connect event coming up on Thursday night.
It's in person and virtually.
Actually, in person this time, this week, and then we'll follow with a virtual opportunity for that. But awesome. In person this week, we do have Lifelines here with us in the stadium, so those teams are here. But yeah, the Connect event is a great way to tie in, find that life group, find that coach. That get some autographs, get to know some of those team leaders. But you can be here. You do that by texting either life group or lifelines to the number on your screen. That'll get you to our Connect card or a way to come to the Connect event this Thursday. We'd love to have people there. We're excited about bringing all those teams out, help you find your people, and help you grow to full life here at Life Point. So we're excited about that, Bryce.
That's right. As we look to watch the Super Bowl tonight, as good as Tom Brady is, he can't do it alone. He's got to have that great defense.
Have a team.
As good as Patrick Mahomes is, he's got to throw it to somebody. So he's throwing it to Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. So we need that in our own lives. And you think about the huddle that these teams have before plays, and to say, hey, look out for this, look out for that. Hey, I'm a little drained on that last play. I need to catch my breath. All those types of things happen within community, within a life group, and or a lifeline. So
you said it better than me, Bryce.
All of that's available to you, and we appreciate Bob Rauscher. Hold on. Let's see. All right, so something's going on.
We got some news. I'm going to pop in. Sorry to kick you out, Bob. But we got some pretty big news going down right now. Apparently something's happening in the locker room that we're going to have to jump in and see what's happening. So let's head down to the locker room real quick, and we'll head back up here after.
That was awesome. One more to go.
Excuse me, everyone. I hate to interrupt. My name is Dr. Dean. I am the lead medical official of the SBP. Nate Seaman, I regret to inform you that you have tested positive.
For what, COVID?
No, why would you think that?
Well, bro, you're wearing a hazmat suit with a face shield.
Yeah, no, you're clear for that. You have tested positive for PEDs, a preaching enhancement device. Let's just take a look behind your ear real quick.
Oh, man,
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Listen, Chris, I'm sorry, okay? I was looking for a competitive edge, all right? Look, towards the end of your preaching career, you weren't very good before you retired.
Are you crazy?
And I didn't know what retirement would do for you. I was just looking for a way to edge us.
Yeah, so I regret to inform you, but you have been disqualified for the rest of the event.
Now what are we gonna do?
Well,
what are we gonna do?
Well, look, we have Gary, okay, a great candidate.
No, sit down, Gary. He's the worst. Have you ever heard him preach? Last week, listen, last week, he was saying a prayer and I fell asleep. Can you imagine a whole sermon?
All right, really good point. He's not great, but...
Not great? He's awful. He's the worst.
Okay, we get it, but what else are we gonna do? Who else do we have?
No, we got Steve. He'll be great.
Yeah, but Chris, look at him, man. He's not even dressed. He's not ready.
I'm ready. All right, that's awesome, but the tie, a little much. But don't worry about it. Come on, guys, let's go. Well, not you. You stay here.
Just when we thought this day couldn't get any crazier, we hear this news, and I don't know what I'm more shocked by, the fact that Nate would let us down. Now, I know that he kind of looks to Tom Brady as a mentor, but to follow the cheating path? Come on.
That feels very, very, very Patriots-esque. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like it. He's going to have some questions to answer because it's definitely not what we wanted to see. But I will say this, and this might be a little bit different perspective than most people would give, is are we absolutely certain that Nate's any better than Steve?
Oh,
Steve might
Steve's
be
a rookie,
better.
though.
All I'm saying is he might upset. That's all I'm saying.
He's coming off the sideline. They've already got Chris out of retirement. Now we've got Steve in his first day here at Super Bowl of preaching on the stage. Are you kidding me? What's he going to bring?
It's exciting. It's exciting
the
stuff.
The suspense is killing me. And how about those snap away pants?
Yeah.
How did he do that? I don't even.
Gosh.
I don't even know if that was camera generated or what. But that was very fancy.
Need a pair.
All right. Well, we got to get to the second half. A lot in store. Here we go. The Super Bowl of preaching second half starts now.
All right, and starting the third quarter is going to be Emily.
Wow, that was something. I'm honestly surprised you're all still here. I wasn't sure when I opened the curtain what I would find when I walked out here. But Steve, welcome to the craziness. Glad to be back up here, Super Bowl of preaching. I'm going to jump right in because I only got 7 minutes. So, being a great teammate can sometimes mean being uncomfortable. So I get this topic, what it looks like to be uncomfortable on a team. I love the book of Proverbs. I think it's incredible. It's in-your-face wisdom and encouragement. So we're going to jump right in. Proverbs 27:17. This is one of the more famous verses in Proverbs and one you may have heard. It's, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. I think we really like the idea of this verse. Yeah, we're strong together. Iron sharpens iron. But when it comes down to it, do we really want to be sharpened? I mean, just that word kind of hurts a little bit. Here's another word for you. Accountability. Accountability. Also another word. We really like the idea of it. But when it really comes down to it, do we want to be held accountable? I think at the first of the year, we're making those New Year's resolutions. We're going to eat better. We're going to go to the gym 5 days a week. We're going to read more books. We're going to be better parents. And we get with our friends. We're like, oh, yeah, let's hold each other accountable. It's going to be so great. We're going to be such incredible people this year. Maybe January, you do real well. You're hitting the gym. You're eating right. You're holding each other accountable. February rolls around. Maybe you've missed a few days at the gym and maybe you've been yelling at your kids and you've only read like a fourth of that book that you had planned on reading. Now you're at the Super Bowl party slamming wings and queso, yelling at your kids when your accountability partner walks up. And you're like, shut up, it's my cheat day. All that to say, nobody really likes to be held accountable when it comes down to it. But a great teammate understands that accountability elevates everyone. Accountability elevates everyone. That's not always easy, however. It can be difficult to allow someone to speak into your life, to challenge you, to push you, but it's amazing when they can remind you of who you really are. I think practically speaking, let's answer 2 questions when it comes to accountability. The first one is this: what relationships do I have in my life that are iron relationships? What relationships do I have in my life that are iron relationships? Looking back at that Proverbs, as iron sharpens iron. And then number 2, am I allowing God to work through these people to sharpen me? Am I allowing God to work through these people to sharpen me? So that first question, what relationships do I have in my life that are iron relationships? These relationships have requirements. You don't want to let just anybody in that role. If you're like me, you've maybe made the mistake of letting the wrong people speak into your life. These are going to be the kind of people that maybe are critical, like all the time. Maybe you have a mother-in-law like that. I don't know. It's not constructive criticism. It's just critical. And maybe these are the kind of people that just take and take instead of giving. And they drain your energy. And they point out your insecurities, probably because they are insecure themselves. These are not your iron people. Don't be confused about who to listen to. I think you should really always filter what people say to you through these 2 questions. The first question is this: does this person love Jesus? And I'm talking, do they have like an active relationship with him? And the second question is, do they love me? Do they really know who I am? What am I about? Do they have an active relationship with me? I think if we filter those questions through what people say to us, then we can really understand that that's truth. But maybe you're on the very other end of this. Maybe you're not listening to anyone at all, that you've let pride get in the way of hearing from people who actually do love and care about you, which leads me to that second question. Am I allowing God to work through my iron relationships to sharpen me? Those of you who play a sport or have been on any kind of team recognize that showing up and working hard are the best ways to gain trust from your teammates. Of course, in life, that plays out too. When you show up and you're there for people, you gain their trust. But it's not always easy to work hard and to show up in life. I think it can be real tough to show up in parenting when you're completely exhausted, or when your kids are out of control and you're not even sure what to do. It can be real hard to show up as an employee when your other employees are really hard to work with, or show up as a son or a daughter, as a friend. And it can be real tough to show up in your marriage sometimes. But when you have someone in your life who can see past everything that you're going through to remind you who you are, those are your iron sharpens iron people. Those are the people that you want to put in your life around you. Those are the ones that you really want to listen to. In my experience, when I allow God to speak through them, it's both humbling and empowering. I can see where I need to change. I can see where I need to show up, where I need to be held accountable. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Does it sting? Of course. No one wants their flaws pointed out or anything that the mistakes that they're making pointed out, but it always turns out that I'm stronger for it. Every single time. But not only am I stronger for it, that relationship is stronger as well. It reminded me of a story of when I was in high school. I ran track. I was on a 4x4 team, so we all ran a 400, and I loved it. It was so much fun for me. And the 400 is a tough race. It's one lap around as hard as you possibly can. And this team of mine, we worked countless hours at the track, just pushing each other, encouraging each other. We practiced that, that baton handoff, and we knew that we could trust each other. We knew that when I handed that baton to my friend, that she was going to run as hard as she could to get around that track. By the end of the season, we were all about a second with each other, and we became a really super successful team because of it. And I think that's really true in life too. We put people around us, and sometimes they're people that we can trust and that we can count on, but sometimes we make the mistake of putting the wrong people in our lives. Or maybe you're someone who has decided that you don't need anyone and you're going to carry the baton all on your own. But that doesn't do anything for anyone. That just puts everyone in a tough spot that's around you. So my encouragement to you today is to put the right people around you. The enemy, he wants to break you down. He wants to dull your life, to bring you to a place where you don't even want to hold up to his attacks. But when you put the right people around you to sharpen you, to encourage you, you're going to be ready for any battle he throws your way. So here's what I want to leave you with. Find the right people. Listen to those people and be stronger for it. Thank you.
All right, well done, Emily. That is 6 points for your team. Now,
Awesome.
would you like to go for the 1 point or the 2 points?
One? You think one? That's true. Steve's a rookie. I think we got this in the bag. I'm gonna go for one.
Okay, all right, for 1 point. What is the name of the first Christian martyr mentioned in the book of Acts?
All right, that's Steven. Easy.
You are correct. Well done. So you get 7 points for your team, ending the third quarter 14-7. Now, starting in the fourth quarter for his rookie debut is Steve. Here we go.
That's right, y'all. It's the Super Bowl of preaching, quarter number 4, and they've got a rookie on stage about to close this bad boy out, right? Listen, real quick, I just want to send a shout out to my friends and family in the great state of Florida, especially those in the Lakeland, Tampa area. It's time to raise the flags and fire those cannons. Let's go Bucks. That's right. That's right. Listen, this morning we've already talked about 3 keys to be a great teammate. We've talked about being encouraging. No, encouraging's over here. Encouraging, coachable, and accountable. And I'm going to talk this morning about being committed. Not that kind of committed to your teammates, right? And my verse this morning is Proverbs 17:17 that states, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity." Now there's 4 parts to this that I want to break down. We have friends and brothers and love and adversity. Each one of those is important, so let's define those. We're going to start with friends. Most of us in this day and age, we think of our friends as our social media outlets, right? It's Facebook, Instagram. Some of us have hundreds of friends. Other of us have thousands of friends. And those friends can make us feel really good inside, whether they're liking our post or they're sharing our videos, or they do what I do and they send that little emoji that has the little heart and the happy face that's hugging it. I'm a big hugger, and I am probably using that emoji completely wrong. But that is me in an emoji. So that's where you're going to do it. What I've had in this situation with friends is this situation with the social media. I'm not sure that that's the friends that the author in Proverbs is talking about, right? Because our friends on social media, sometimes they can make us feel pretty terrible. Whether they're overly aggressive and say stuff online that they'd never say to us in person, right? Or they're judgmental, right? That's the situation. That doesn't feel like I'm being loved at all times, does it? It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of commitment there. So a friend loves at all times. So let's define love, right? Paul defines love in 1 Corinthians as love is patient, love is kind, right? It's not boastful, it's not envious, it's not self-serving. Now that sounds a little bit more like the love that this guy in Proverbs is talking about. A couple of years ago, I had the privilege of having a really good bunch of friends come around me when I was going through my battle with cancer. I had prayers prayed over me. I had love sent in my direction. I had letters written to me. I had people feed me as if I needed it, right? And I don't know what happened. Anytime we have a crisis right now, our first instinct is like, let's get that guy some food. And look, I'm not complaining because the food was delicious, but I just don't know where that came from, right? What I realized going through this scenario was your friends actually become your biggest fans, right? They're your biggest cheerleaders. They love you, they encourage you, they give you strength. And to my friends, I'm gonna tell you this much. I totally needed it today as much as I needed it back then, so thank you. But what makes a brother, right? Proverbs states a brother is born for a time of adversity. And a brother is born in the love that we were just speaking about. When that love becomes unpredictable, it becomes one-sided, right? It's when that love requires you to love somebody as they're going through adversity, not while you're going through it, while they are going through the adversity, which isn't always an easy thing to do, right? Adversity, we hear people talk about it, especially coaches after games all the time, whether they overcame adversity and they won the big game, or adversity was just way too much and they lost. The way I'd want to define adversity this morning is adversity is nothing more than an unexpected change of events. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs had to feel some of this adversity just here in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes went down with a concussion, and arguably the best player in the NFL is now out of the game. So it required all of the brothers on that team to band together to be able to win and overcome that adversity, which is why they're here in the Super Bowl now, right? So adversity is an unexpected change of events, but what you don't realize is adversity also reveals your biggest and greatest teammates, right? These people are the ones that are willing to do a personal sacrifice for you. And the best teammate that I could possibly think of right now is actually Jesus himself, right? Jesus carried our cross down Calvary, even though he was perfectly blameless. He forgave us for we know not what we do as he was being nailed to that cross, with no assurances that we would ever love him or know who he is because we have free will. And probably in the greatest act of love, he did it when he didn't want to do it. He begged the Father to take this burden away from him, and he did it anyway. Jesus is our greatest teammate. And even though we will never be able to love to the extent that Jesus loves, right? We are his followers. We do have his Holy Spirit inside of us, and we are capable of loving people through adversity. You know, my brothers rallied around me in my darkest moments. I had brothers who'd come to the hospital and sit down and stay with me while I was getting chemo. Had other brothers drive up to Knoxville to see me up there. Other brothers kept our kids and our dogs and our dog for weeks on end while we were getting treatment. Others would stay at the house so that the kids would feel less displaced and a little bit more normalcy. And others took a week of vacation for me, not for the beach, but for me. And lastly, I had brothers walk alongside my wife and pour love and life into her because I had nothing else to give. So to my brothers, and you know who you are, I want to say I love you and thank you so much for everything. Your sacrifice means more to me than you will ever know. And listen, we were never meant to be brothers to everyone, right? We were only meant to be brothers to a few. Even Jesus himself had thousands of followers. He had hundreds of friends, but he walked closest with only 12 brothers. So I'm gonna leave you guys with a couple of challenges today. First, find your friends. Love on them, be their biggest cheerleader because they need it and you need it. Second, identify who your brothers are. Are you willing to get in the muck and in the mess with them? Are you willing to walk through adversity with them so that you both become stronger on the back end of that? And third, if you're the one going through adversity right now, I know you're tired. I know you want to get out of the game. I know you want to stay on the bench. But get back in that game. Put those cleats on. Get in the mess. Get in the muck. Fight for your next set of downs because your fans are right there cheering you on, loving you. Your brothers are going to be right there carrying you through the whole thing. And your greatest teammate will never leave your side no matter the outcome. I love y'all. Thank you.
For our rookie, Steve. Now, all that's left is to decide, are we going to go for the 1 point or the 2? And maybe we should ask everyone out here. So, should Steve go for the 1 point and tie the game, sending us into overtime?
I like the way y'all thinking. That's
all right. Should he go for the 2 points and just take it home?
Yes. 2 points. Let's go.
Points. All right. Now, this question is harder than all the rest that have happened so far. But here we are. Which Roman was in charge of cultivation in Syria at the time of Jesus' birth?
Cyrenius.
You are correct.
You didn't think I knew that, did you?
Whoa! And a stunning come from behind. The rookie Steve leads his team to victory at 15-14. The new Super Bowl preaching champions.
All right, yes, Steve.
Sounds good, baby. Come on, give it up for them one more time. Steve Fuentes, the rookie, the Rudy in the house. Hey, aren't you guys grateful for a church where you can come, have fun, laugh a little bit? Come on, aren't you grateful for that? We believe that church should be a place where we can learn about Jesus and have a good time. Well, we're grateful that you're a part of this. And I do want to remind you that the whole point of this, yes, to laugh a little bit, but the whole point is to start making you take some steps towards getting connected. Like Pastor Bob said, if you've never been in a life group, come check out our Connect event this Thursday. And if you did not text the number, that's okay. Grab that little Connect card, Try5 card in your seat back, and just simply write Connect event. They'll send you information, all that you need to know about this Thursday night, and start, getting to meet some people. Find your tribe like they talked about. And it might take a couple different life groups. You might walk in and be like, these are not my people. That's okay, right? You've had a bad haircut, but you didn't give up on haircuts. You just found a new barber. It's part of it, right? But we do believe that these are some critical steps to take really to live your fullest life. So make sure that you do that. But before we leave though, I actually got the winner of the $200 Topgolf gift card. Y'all ready for this? All right. We got a few of you. So we took, in honor of the 55th Super Bowl, number 55 that filled out the online, texted in. And this is cool. This actually came from our online campus of somebody who's local in the area. So John Higgins, we've got you a $200 Topgolf gift card. I know who you are. We'll figure out a way to get it to you. Make sure you stay connected, man. We're going to get this to you. Other than that, y'all, why don't we stand up together? I'm going to pray for you as we get ready to leave today. If you came prepared to give, you know how to do that. You can give online or drop it in the box on your way out. But let's pray. Lord, we're grateful for you, Jesus. Thank you for this, to me, just a powerful reminder of the value of relationships. The reality is, Lord, we don't know what's ahead of us. We don't know if cancer is going to be a part of our stories like Steve's. We don't know if there's an injury, if there's marriage problems. The reality is, God, we need people today for what's ahead of us tomorrow. So Lord, help us to be vulnerable, to take a risk, to open up our lives, to go maybe this Connect event, to jump into the lobby, grab one of these lifelines and just start building a team around us. Lord, that's what we want. We love you, Jesus. We pray this in your name. And everybody who agreed said, amen. Amen. Hey, enjoy the Super Bowl. See you next Sunday.
What a morning it was. The 5th annual Super Bowl of Preaching. I'm Bryce Johnson with Cameron Roop for this post-game show as everyone leaves today and we reflect and reminisce about what today was all about. And I'm still floored that Steve Fuentes came out and got the win for Team Roop, formerly Team Seaman. Cameron, what'd you think?
I will tell you this right now, it absolutely shocked me, but I did call it to some extent at halftime. Steve Fuentes brought the good stuff. He brought it. He ended it. He called it, and it was over. I love it.
As impressive as it was for the performance by Steve, it was so encouraging, the personal story, the way it related to us. I still have questions for our senior pastor, Nate Seaman.
Bring it in here.
Yeah, hey guys. Maybe it wasn't deflated footballs, but man, what was the story? How could you let this happen?
Well, listen, as you guys could clearly tell, Chris wasn't very good today. I mean, he's had better games, let's just be honest. And so I suspected that. The last couple years of his preaching career, we started having conversations around, is this the right seat on the bus? He kind of knew I probably need to retire. And I was looking for an edge. Was it the right thing to do? Maybe not, but obviously the outcome still happened.
Yep.
Like Antonio Brown, Chris still found himself on a winning team.
That's true. Now, before it gets too long, because we're running out of time here, what are you predicting for today, actually, for tonight, for the Super Bowl?
Now, I'm not a Tom Brady fan or a Bucs fan, but I've got to go with this team. I want to see history made.
Okay.
I'm going with Tampa Bay, 34-28, Buccaneers.
Close game.
Brady's been around so long. At this point in his career, I found myself rooting for him. And I hate to admit it.
Wow.
Years ago when he beat the Panthers, it was devastating.
Wow.
But I'm going with the Bucs and Brady tonight.
You?
No, I'm not feeling it. I'm all on the Chiefs train. Patrick Mahomes is not going to play with any of those games.
Wow.
They're going to bring it back 2 years in a row. It's going to happen.
Hey, you two did amazing. I know we got to get off the air here soon. What a spectacular job. Unpacking it. Go check out Unpacking It, podcast, everything.
I appreciate it. It was great to be with you today. Thanks to everybody working behind the scenes. There's people in the back. We got camera people, audio people, a lot of hardworking people made today happen. For Cameron, I'm Bryce Johnson from Unpacking It. This has been the 5th annual Super Bowl of Preaching.
Have a good one.